What did the Knicks do? Guys, what just happened? I am still in disbelief and shock that this just happened. I mean, I literally just woke up. I woke up really late. I kept going back to sleep because I was super tired. And someone just texted me, RJ, or they just texted me, you got OG. And when I saw that, I immediately knew either RJ or Quickley was gone. And it turns out both of them are gone. What is going on? Pain. I feel like we got fleeced. Like, we gave up Quickley. We all know Quickley could be a star. We all know that, right? And he's been playing well. He's been very productive in the minutes he's been given in the last few games. He had a 22-point game. I believe he had another 20-point game before that. Last night was a little bit quiet, but still one of the better games out of all the Knicks last night. They knew this was coming. I think that's truly why Quickley has been having such limited minutes. This whole season, his minutes have been limited compared to last season. They just knew it was coming. I really didn't see this happening this quick. You know, we literally just played last night and we're going to play again tonight. And this trade happened just now. This is crazy. Nick's tape said IQ will end up on Magic or Spurs in offseason. They have the money and the need. I can see that happening. I've seen a lot of people say he's going to the Spurs to team up with Wemby, and because they so desperately do need a guard like Quickley. If that does end up happening, I'm going to be super upset though, just because Quickley is going to turn into a star regardless of where he goes. I mean, I know he's going to Toronto right now, but in the offseason, wherever he goes, he's going to become a star. And to know that the Knicks had that, we had that, but we just didn't want to start it. We didn't want to start him for some reason. I know he's a guard, but he could play the two. He could play alongside Jalen Brunson. Someone literally brought up that point last night. If Tyrese Maxey and James Harden could have been, you know, they were the backcourt for the Philadelphia 76ers last season, why couldn't we do it with our Knicks team? Jalen Brunson and Immanuel Quickley, why couldn't we do that? They could have been the backcourt. We've seen them close out games together. But no, the Knicks had other plans. They knew he was going to be leaving this offseason, so they just went ahead and traded him while they could. I mean, it's smart, but it's hurtful. A lot of fans liked him, including me, and he was a very talented player. I really can't believe this news right here. To wake up to something like this is just crazy. Yeah, Connor said it. They weren't going to extend him, so they had to get some value in return. They weren't just going to let him go off freely in the offseason without getting anything. I mean, even if they did do that, us Knicks fans, we would have criticized the front office either way, whatever happened with Quickley. We knew it when they didn't extend him. That's very true. We knew he was going to leave at some point. They didn't come to an agreement for his extension. It upset a lot of Knicks fans, including me. We've been saying, pay this guy. And now he's gone. Knicks tape said, I see DeJounte Murray coming to the Knicks now for a package of Grimes and picks. I honestly think that's where they're headed as well. I think we're going to make another big move because we're lacking right now. We just sent RJ and Quickley, who are two key players for us. They're gone now. So it makes sense that if we do get Murray, and I wouldn't be surprised if they package away Grimes and some picks. Like, anyone is on the table at this point, I think. You know, Quickley, RJ. I'm going to be honest, I really didn't think they were going to trade RJ. Obviously, he's just been the kid of the city. He was drafted here. He's in year 5, and we've all embraced him to a certain point. We've all tried to support him to be the best player in the city and to lead this Knicks team. He's been given the green light at certain seasons, certain points. And I just never really thought it would happen, but it did. Another draft pick that we had to trade away. I mean, just look at the list there. We have no skill at drafting players and keeping them here. I mean, it was just Obi Toppin we traded away in the summer, and now it's RJ Barrett. I mean, the Knicks should just stay away from the draft at this point. Luke said, so we attached Quickley in order to avoid giving up more valuable assets in the first round picks. Yeah. And I believe we're sending them a second round pick. So, I mean, I guess that's the only good part about this. We're not sending them a first round pick. If we didn't attach Quickley, I'm pretty sure we would have had to. Sucks that we couldn't attach Fournier into this deal in any way, because he's still on the team, and that's crazy. Like everyone else is leaving and he's just still here. Obi left, RJ is gone now quickly, and I'm sure there's going to be more moves made. I don't think this is the first move the Knicks are making. I think there's more coming. Cold Vader said the trade wasn't bad, but man, it hurts. It does hurt. I did not expect this at all. It's just crazy. I mean, Quickley, like at the back of my head, I did think RJ would have to be traded at some point, because you could see there was an ongoing issue with him. The inconsistency, his defense. It's just there's been an ongoing issue with him between his years here in New York. It's just whether or not I just didn't know when the front office was going to actually acknowledge it and make a move, but they did. And like I think Quickley hurts more, just in my opinion, because he has so much potential and he's been playing so well. He's always stayed positive, despite not getting that extension this past summer. He's been that spark for us off the bench, even though he didn't agree with the front office, and he's just been a good sport about it, and he's been trying his best to do what he can with the limited minutes he's been getting. Like, he hasn't been playing the amount of minutes he should be. And we saw it the other night. We saw it who is it we played where he got subbed out for RJ? I think it was the Thunder. Yeah, it was the Thunder game literally the other night, where there was 4 minutes left in the game. Quickley had 22 points in 24 minutes, and then he gets subbed out for those last 4 minutes of the game for RJ. It was a bad move by Coach Tibbs. It shouldn't have happened, but everything just seems to make sense now. Tibbs was limiting his minutes because eventually he was getting traded. They didn't want an injury happening. They didn't want anything like that. So that's why we've barely seen him at times. Nick's tape said IQ is Maxi light, and teams know that. Exactly. I've always thought that he could have the potential that Tyrese Maxey has, and how Maxey's playing right now on the Sixers. I do believe that IQ can hit that point too. They're very similar players. They played together in college. You can't deny that IQ has that ability. He can do it. And Nick Tape also said, look at the Kentucky guards' pedigree in the last 10 years. It's crazy. It is crazy. We just mentioned Maxey and we just mentioned Quickley. Like, those guys, they have so much potential. Shout out to Kentucky. JNY Sports said they should have kept Quickley. The Knicks gave up too much. Yeah, I definitely think the Knicks got fleeced here. OG Anunoby is a good player. He's a great two-way player. He can provide something on offense, but his main specialty is defense. I'll have to do a whole rundown on him and put another video out there, but we're really bringing him in for defense. So the crazy thing is, I looked up his averages last night, because after the Knicks loss to the Magic, I was thinking that the bigger issue for this team is clearly our defense. Offense is not offense is an issue, but it's not the biggest issue we have. We have scorers on this team, Randall, Brunson. We have people that will show up and score at times, Dante, other guys, Hart sometimes. The biggest issue that we're having is defense, because we're letting these teams score too much. Sometimes we've given up 130 plus points. Last night we gave up 117. The perimeter defense has been awful. Not specifically last night, because we only gave up 7 threes, but there's been other nights we've seen them give up way too many threes. So we finally have a guy that is going to come in here and hopefully bring in defense and just hopefully set the tone for the rest of the team. Because we could be a great team, but our biggest issue has been defense. Everyone has to step up on that side. But now that we have OG Anunoby, things might be different. Nick's tape said Tibbs fell in love with Dante. It makes sense now. It really makes sense. Uh, it really makes sense why they brought Dante in, why they signed him this summer. He was just going to be the backup eventually. Because he can play that role. He's played backup point guard before on different teams. I believe he played that on Golden State just a few years, just like last year or 2 years prior. So it really makes sense now why they signed Dante. He was eventually going to be our backup point guard. Things fall into place now after this trade just happened. He was insurance. Oh man, wait, hold on. I need to Brandon, if you're in the chat, I'm so sorry. I know that you've defended RJ and you've always been his guy and you've always been in the chat, so I feel for you right now. I'm sorry you're going through this, Brandon Roberts. But let it out. Let it out in the chat. I'll go through all the comments. It hurts, they said. It definitely hurts. It's been a while since the Knicks have done a big time trade like this. They didn't do one last year, really. I don't think so, no. And I know the Obi trade was in the summer, and it also it hurt, but it really didn't because we all knew Obi was not going to get enough minutes behind Julius Randle. So it was kind of expected, the Obi trade, but this was not expected. It just came out of nowhere. Knicks hater said, good deal for both teams. Knicks improve immediately, especially defensively, and also unload RJ's contract. Yeah, RJ had a big contract. He was getting paid a lot of money. I believe we extended him last year. And yeah, I guess you said it right. It's a great way to unload his contract, and we definitely improved defensively. OG is a great defensive player. He provides a lot to the table, whether it's his defense or his offense. He's not just known for his defense. He can score the ball. I'm actually going to look up his stats right now. This is crazy though, just to realize that this is actually happening. I believe he averages somewhere like around 14 points per game. Let's check right here. So for this season, he is averaging 15 points per game, which is pretty good. That's pretty good for him being a two-way player and for defense being his specialty. We're actually getting back a 15 point per game player. And I would say that's pretty similar to what we've been getting from RJ the last 10 games or so. RJ has been struggling a little bit. I think in the last 10 games he's been averaging 16 points per game. So, OG's providing 15 to the table. He's bringing along nearly 4 rebounds per game, 2.6 assists, not a lot there, but he's also shooting 48.9% from the field. That's really good right there. So if he is shooting and he is scoring, he's being efficient about it. He's probably not taking too many shots a game, but he's making most of them. But I don't know. Let's see. His defensive rating. So he doesn't grab a lot of rebounds, which is actually a little surprising because I would expect that for him being someone with I believe he does have a 7-foot wingspan, and he is only 6'7". He's pretty tall, but I thought he would grab more rebounds. He only grabs 3.9 a game. Let's see some of these comments. King said, this is a stupid trade. I wonder who initiated this. Was it Tibbs or Leon the Con? I don't know, honestly. I think this trade has been in the works because I believe I just saw a report that from Shams as well. He tweeted that the Knicks were actively pursuing OG for a while now. So they have been trying to get him for a while. And I think this trade was in the works. Not sure who initiated it, Leon or Tibbs. I'm pretty sure Leon, though, he obviously gets the final call and makes that decision. But maybe since the summer, we could say they've been thinking about this just because they didn't extend Quickley. If they extended Quickley, I don't think they would have been able to trade him right now. So it really starts to fall together, and it starts to make sense why they did the things that they did. They had this in the works. They wanted a guy like OG. Wow. Brandon said Knicks got to be the most poverty franchise of all time. Brandon, you're not even wrong because, like, look at it draft wise. We don't know how to draft players successfully and keep them. Like RJ, I believe, or Mitch is like, I don't even know. One of them were the first players in such a long time that we gave an extension to. Did we give an extension to Mitch? I'm actually not sure, but it was either Mitch or RJ. I know we gave an extension to RJ, but we don't usually give an extension to our draft picks. We haven't done that in a while, but we did it to RJ. I think we did it to Mitch. And now the fact that RJ is gone, it's just crazy because a lot of our draft picks end up going to waste. They end up leaving us. I mean, we can go back and we can look at Frank Ntilikina, we could look at Kevin Knox, Obi Toppin, now RJ Barrett. I mean, those are just the few I have off the top of my head from the recent years. But there's definitely a lot more. Nick's tape said all of our guards took a step back except Brunson since Dante been acquired. Yeah, definitely. And just thinking about Dante now, he's definitely going to be our backup point guard. For now at least. Oh wait, hold up. I think he would have to be our backup because I know he's been starting, but I completely forgot actually that he's been starting the games. But I think he has to go back to the bench and be our point guard because he's really the only one that has the capabilities because he's done it professionally. He's done it on other NBA teams. And he has the ability to do so. Grimes also has the ability to do so, but he has never really played point guard position in the NBA, mainly shooting guard for him. So I guess that's how it would look. I have to really plan it out in my head what our roster is looking like now and who plays what. One time NBA 2K Legend said, "This is a cool trade. Finally, RJ is gone." Man, I don't even want to say it like that just because it feels so disrespectful to say, like, finally he's gone. I know he's been in a slump and he hasn't been the most consistent player on the Knicks, but it sucks that it had to be this way because we drafted him and we always wanted to support him. Well, I mean, I speak for myself. I always wanted him to be the best he could, and he's finally gone. I know a lot of people are going to have reactions like you, like, yes, he's finally gone. He sucked and he was awful and we needed him gone. In the back of my head, I definitely thought that he would have to leave at some point. It just sometimes it doesn't work out. And him on the Knicks, it didn't seem like it was working out. I know it's crazy though because we were only on a 2-game losing streak. This last night we had our second loss in a row. So for this trade to come after a 2-game losing streak, that definitely jump scared a lot of players, Knicks players, that Leon is going to do what he needs to do to make this team a top team in the East because right now we're the 8th seed. And Leon's not happy. That's why he did this trade, and he wants the Knicks to be better. I know a lot of Knicks players were surprised about this. I saw Josh Hart tweet. He was literally like, "What did I wake up to?" or something like that. I guess they didn't see this coming, and it's shocking. It's so wild. Where's this comment? Knicks fans crying literally only because Quickley was in the deal. Yeah, we didn't want Quickley in this deal. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I think we're more upset about Quickley than we are about RJ. RJ, I think every single Knicks fan just knew at some point it was going to happen. Quickley, we didn't want to give up. We didn't want to do this, but it had to happen just because at some point he was going to leave us in the summer. I don't think the Knicks were going to match another team's salary that they were going to offer him. He was going to leave, so it just had to happen. The Knicks had to trade him before he left so they could get some type of value. Ski New York said, could have got Mitchell, though. They said they weren't trading RJ, then trade him. Yeah, if you're talking about back in, I think it was 2019 when that happened, the whole rumors, when Mitchell got traded to the Cavs. Well, before that, the Knicks wanted him. He wanted to go to New York. Um, but Utah Jazz, Danny Ainge, I don't think he liked the package the Knicks were offering. And at that time, I don't think RJ was on the table because after that trade happened, they extended him, and it seemed like they were just making RJ the star player of this team by extending him and giving him the green light. But yeah, things change. It's been a few years since then, since that Mitchell trade, and he hasn't lived up to his best potential. He just straight up hasn't. I know he performed well in the playoffs. He did great in the playoffs for us. One of the reasons we were able to keep going and get as far as we did, but it's a regular season issue with him, and I don't know if it was ever going to be fixed, if he was ever going to become consistent. Dylan said, "Not gonna lie to you, I think this is a joke." When someone texted me that we got OG, I thought it was a joke too, but it's real. It's coming from real sources. Like these are real reporters out here reporting this. I know if it was from like a Knicks fan page, I would have thought maybe this is a joke, but these are the real reporters of the NBA. Mr. Dones said, or Mr. Don's, Fournier got to be the next one gone. That's what I'm saying. How is he still on the team right here? He is going to be the last one left on this team, I swear, because so many players are now gone, and he's the first one we should have tried to get off the team. I know his contract is tricky though. I think it's on, and I think this year or next year it expires. So there's reasons to that, but still, like, he's watching his best teammates leave between Obi, Quickley, RJ, and he's still at the end of that bench. And he's not going to get minutes now, I don't think. Mickey said, IQ though, I hate being a Knicks fan sometimes. I know. It's been a while since we've seen a big trade like this, but big trades like this really make me just question my loyalty for the Knicks, because why are we trading Immanuel Quickley? This dude has the potential to be a star in the league. Shout out to whoever tweeted this last night. They were showing pictures of players, and I'll tell you who was on there. It was James Harden. No, it was Jalen Brunson in a Mavs uniform, and I think it was, who else was it? Oh, I forgot. But they were just comparing Quickley to point guards who have been in the shadow before, and once they got the green light, they've been spectacular. Just like Jalen Brunson, he was in the shadow of Luka on the Mavs, and once he got to New York, he became a completely different player. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen to Quickley if he gets the green light. Someone said we got Precious, Achiuwa, Malachi Flynn as well. Did we get another player? Hold on. I have to see something. I don't think we did. Did we? I'm looking it up right now. So it says, oh yeah, it does. We did get him. I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm just gonna call him Flynn, but we got Flynn in the deal as well. It didn't say that in the tweet next to me, but let's read this right here. It says Flynn is heading to the Knicks in a 5-player deal. I don't know if this source is really accurate because I haven't really seen that anywhere else, but maybe it just came out. Yeah, so Flynn is their backup point guard, I think, or he's just a point guard on the team. He's averaging 5 points per game, 2 rebounds per game, and 2.4 assists. But I don't know about that. Bittersweet, AA said. It really is. What people don't see is that OG is bigger, better, and more efficient than RJ, better defender. Yeah, he definitely is a better defender. RJ has been not the best defender at times, so we're getting better defensively. And you might be right. We're getting a better efficient score because obviously RJ's been inconsistent. He hasn't been efficient, especially the last 10 games. There's been times where he'll shoot very bad numbers. I mean, last night wasn't too bad, but the other nights. So OG, he is bigger and he's a better defensive player, and he's definitely more efficient because he doesn't take a lot of shots. He'll put up 15 a game, but when he takes shots, he'll make most of them being efficient. Yeah. I'm sad for Quickley. I'm definitely sad for Quickley. Did anyone see his Instagram story? He just posted one and it's just said God's plan. He's a very religious guy. I know he's not taking this too hard just because he believes in God's plan, and everything happens for a reason for him. I'm really sad for him though, just because he was a fan favorite. A lot of fans loved him. We embraced him, and especially this last, the most recent stretch of games, we've all really been saying, pay Immanuel Quickley, play Immanuel Quickley. We've been supporting him. We've been wanting more from him, and now he's gone. AA said, "Why after last night, though?" I know it's a shock, really, just because that was our second loss in a row. It wasn't like our fifth or sixth or even more. It was just our second. So to come after last night, the loss against Orlando, and neither of those players. I mean, it you can tell it was just in the works. AA, this trade was in the works. I'm not sure why they did it right now, but it just this was definitely planned since the summer, at least, when they didn't extend IQ. Because even they reported that the Knicks were actively pursuing OG for a while, so we knew this was in the works for a while too. Joshua said RJ was too inconsistent. Yeah, I mean, to keep it real, he definitely was. He definitely was, and I think if he didn't perform the way he did in the playoffs, he probably would have been traded in the summer. Because he didn't have a great season last year. He didn't. And especially defensively, it was probably one of his worst seasons last year. And then in the playoffs, he really stepped up. He stepped up and he was that guy for us. And he was great. And I think that really it just it shook the front office a little bit because now they don't know what to do. But they gave it some time. Summer passed, a few months into the season passed, and they decided it was time because the same old thing happened. He started off great, and then he resorted back to his old self, which is inconsistent. GZ said they should have packaged IQ in a separate deal. I don't even think they should have packaged IQ in a deal at all. I know from like a business standpoint, the Knicks had to because he was going to leave this summer. But as a fan, I didn't want him to leave at all. BCDC said this move sets us up for the future, even if people don't see it. Yeah, the Knicks are looking long term right now. They're looking, I definitely think they just want to be a better team. They want to be a top team in the East. We had the potential to do that, but right now we're the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, and it's not looking too good for us before. So I think grabbing OG and trading for OG, it was definitely the move they had in mind to be a great team in the long term because he's going to help us defensively, and that's where we've struggled the most. AA said, I think Toronto lowered the price to a second round pick from a first. Yeah, originally I saw it was a first from another source. I think it was Woj, but then they said it was a second round pick now, and I'm hoping it's a second round pick just because giving up RJ Quickley and a first round pick all for OG and Anunoby sounds completely ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry. He is not he's a great player, a good player, but he's not on that superstar level where we would feel the need to give up 2 of our key players and a first round pick for him. We would have been completely fleeced. The Token Hour podcast said, "Gotta be more than this. Hating this." I know a lot of fans are hating it right now. I have mixed emotions right now. I don't even know what to think. I'm really upset that IQ's gone. RJ, I'm upset just because I mean I knew it was coming, but I just feel bad for the kid. I feel bad for him that it had to happen. We wanted this to be his city. He was drafted here along with Quickley, but you know RJ was given the green light. He was given the extension. It just it didn't turn out the way we thought it would. JNY Sports said it sucks RJ couldn't play better. I know. I literally think that if RJ had continued to play the way he was in the beginning of the season, he was playing phenomenal. Like 24 points per game, 50% from the 3-point line, which was his career high, and even like the best percentage in the league. This was all before he had his migraines. If he just played like how he did before that, we wouldn't be in I don't think we would have been in this position, because all we've needed from him is to play consistently well and to just put up, like, I would say at least 20 points per game, maybe a little bit more, but in an efficient way. And he hasn't been able to do that since he's gotten back from his migraine injury. Knicks hater said Anunoby can guard 1 to 4 spots, 6 to 7. He's 6'7", he's 230 pounds with a 7'2" wingspan. Yeah, he has a huge wingspan, and he could score. Raptors desperately need guards that can score, and the Raptors are getting that. They're getting Immanuel Quickley, who is going to, if they keep him, and you know this summer if they keep him, he is going to full on turn into a beast. There, I know he has the ability to do it. Raptors, they're in a good spot with Quickley, and you know even RJ, somehow if he can make it work there, he's back home. We know, if any of you guys don't know, RJ's from Canada and he's back home. That's crazy. Maybe deep down he's a little happy just to be back home. Mickey said RJ sucks, but why did we give up IQ? I guess that's what it took to get OG. They wouldn't have had it any other way. I mean, Nick's hater just mentioned it. Raptors needed guards that can score, and Quickley is that guy. He's a guard that can score, and I don't think we could have traded Dante DiVincenzo because we just signed him this summer. I don't know if he was eligible to be traded, so that's why we gave up Quickley. One time, NBA 2K Legend said RJ was killing me on defense. He really was. Um, I mean, not just him though. The entire team has been slacking on defense. Even Julius Randle. Like Julius Randle has been a beast on the offensive end, but there's moments and times where there's no effort from him on the defensive end. But RJ as well, just he hasn't been it on defense. He has struggled. Yeah. Mike said the same thing. He doesn't play good defense. Not a Tibbs guy. Yeah, Tibbs likes guys that could actually play defense. Um, a lot of our acquisitions in the recent year have been known defensive guys like Josh Hart. You know, he's known to defend. Even DiVincenzo, he's known to be a 3-and-D guy, a guy that could shoot the 3 ball and then also defend on the other end of the court. And now we have OG Anunoby, another great defender. So Tibbs is gathering all these defenders, and hopefully it can actually make a difference. Brandon said, F those first round picks, they never gonna come to life. Yeah. I just we never have success at drafting recently. We don't have success at it. I mentioned it before. It's just looking back at the recent years, we've had like a few first round picks. You can go back to Frank. I don't know what pick he was, but he was in the first round. I believe he was top 10. Knox was top 10. Obi was top 10. RJ top 5. It's just the Knicks, we can't draft. PMCG actually said good trade. Curious. I need to hear more of your thoughts on that. Like, you're okay with giving up Quickley? Because I'm a little upset about it. Someone said it's Detroit's, so it's basically a first. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that actually makes sense. Man, I didn't know it was Detroit's. AA said Quick was not re-signing. I didn't think so either. He wouldn't have re-signed just because the Knicks and him didn't come to an agreement before the deadline in October, so he wasn't staying. I think we all knew that he wasn't going to stay. Another team was going to offer him something big, and he was going to go there. So this is from like a business standpoint. The Knicks did what they had to do. They had to trade quickly before he left, and they got nothing. Oh yeah, someone said it's going to be the first pick of the second round. Okay, got you. AA said we all saw this coming. Exactly. I like a little part of us all saw this coming. Not today. I think today is so random to do it, but because we just played last night. We just played the Orlando Magic last night. We lost, and we're playing tonight again. We're playing against the Pacers, and two of our key players are not coming with us. RJ's not coming. Quickly's not coming. It's so recent. Like we just saw them play last night, and now they're gone. They're on a plane to a different country, guys. Like they're not just in the States anymore. They're going to a different country. Man. Jamesy said, I definitely think a second trade is coming. OG is a piece. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think another trade is coming soon because, like, this trade was crazy overall. Just to trade RJ and Quickly, I think everyone like is on the table. Like nothing's off the table, right? So, they'll do anything besides Brunson and Randall, basically. Like, and anyone who's eligible, because I think certain players aren't eligible. I think Dante, I'm not sure because he just signed this summer. Josh Hart, I'm also not sure of because he extended this summer as well. So I think everyone else might just be available for another trade. There's rumors about Murray, a lot of rumors surrounding there. The Knicks were interested in him. It could be coming soon. I'm curious to see what would we be giving up for him though, because we just gave up our biggest pieces right here. Uh, like two of our key players on our team, our sixth man Immanuel Quickley and RJ, who was, supposed to be the third player in our big three. Nick stated that IQ is good, but there are 50 dudes on the benches who could provide what he does, which is essentially scoring. Yeah. You're right, but I definitely think like you're right. There's a lot of guys and that can do what he does. But I definitely think that he's such a skilled scorer and he could get to a different level. He could get on a different level with his scoring. The same way Jalen Brunson did. I mentioned it before, but Jalen Brunson did not have the green light on the Mavericks, obviously with Luka by his side. And when he came to New York, he did get the green light and he was able to just shoot as many times as he wanted and do whatever he wanted with the rock. And I think that's exactly what IQ will do if he gets the opportunity in Toronto. Like we may see him just elevate his offensive game to another level, be a consistent 20 point per game scorer. Nothing but that sports talk said, you think adding OG makes the Knicks a playoff team? Well, I have to see because obviously he's a great defender, but one guy just can't make up for the entire team's defensive effort. Like we need everyone to step up defensively. I know he adding him is going to be great for us on defense, but we also need everyone to just do their part and do everything they can possibly. But I definitely think we're headed in the right direction with him because our defense improves and it could definitely change things now. We could be a different team with him on here. He provides not only defense, but he provides scoring. He's a 15 point per game player. So he's adding a little bit of everything. It seems like that's kind of the pattern we've had in our few acquisitions in the past year. When we added Josh Hart, he was a guy that added a little bit of everything, and then we added DiVincenzo, another guy who added a little bit of everything, but OG Anunoby, I think, is going to be a big impact on defense. And if everyone else can follow through just like him, I could definitely see the Knicks headed in the right direction towards being a playoff team. We were a playoff team last year with the guys we had, RJ and IQ, but I definitely think we still would have made the playoffs with RJ and IQ. I'm not sure what seed, because right now we're in the 8th seed, but there's still a lot of basketball games to be played. I think we would have finished 6th or 5th, around there, just because the East is really competitive this year. So it's surprising. We were a playoff team before this trade happened, but now we might be a better playoff team. We might be in a better seed with him. Let's see. Alex said, I'm devastated. We all are. We definitely are taken aback a little bit. We're shocked. We're hurt. Especially all the RJ stands. I don't know if there's any in here, because I know there's a whole group of them on Twitter, but I bet all RJ stands are heartbroken right now, because they stood up for RJ almost every single time. They supported him since day one. Even when he was being just like completely, what's the word? Bullied. I want to say bullied online. Like, RJ has gotten a lot of criticism online, but his fans have always stood up for him. And I feel for them right now, because they're going through it. They just lost their favorite player, a player who they supported through thick and thin. They're going through it. AA said, adding OG backs us better. Our offense was horrible last night. Yeah, our offense was horrible, and it was mainly because Brunson had a tough game. He had a really bad first half, as well as RJ. So it was mainly Randall that was picking up for them. And then you had our shooting guard position, Dante and Grimes. They only made up 5 points of the game. Dante had 2 points, Grimes had 3 points. Last night, everyone was just awful. So adding OG, it helps, because he does provide some scoring. If he can do that for us, it's helpful. Dynasty said RJ needed to go, though. Yep, we knew it was coming. Jackson said, I think this is a win-win. Interesting. I know some people here are actually thinking this is a good trade, and I'm curious on why you think that. Just because, is it because you didn't want Immanuel Quickley on this team anymore, or like, I wanted Quickley on this team. I wanted him to start even. Like, he deserves that. He deserves that green light. We've seen it done before. We've seen players like Maxey and Harden share a backcourt together. And they were somewhat successful at it. They made the playoffs, and they were a good team last year, but we haven't really seen that happen this year so far. Quickley has not started one game. He's closed out a few games, and we just haven't seen him start or anything. AA said Celtics didn't cause nothing. Stop it. Oh, yeah. I saw a comment that said Celtics caused this. I'm not really sure how. You could explain, but I'm not really sure how you can explain that. Mickey said RJ most definitely had to go, but not IQ. Yeah, that's pretty much why we're all upset. I think if the deal just had RJ, well, it couldn't just have RJ, because the salaries need to match, and then there's a whole bunch of complicated stuff to it. There would have had to be another player besides RJ, I think, but for it to be Quickley just really hurts. Someone said that's crazy. He's a starter on a lot of teams. You're just a hater. You're talking about, who are you talking about, RJ or Quickley? Or, I said Quickley's a starter on most teams. They call me Tax said, I hate this. I know this is smart given what we have and not having IQ signed, but it hurts. RJ has made progress slowly and steadily, and he wanted to be here. IQ is going to shine anywhere. It does hurt, and RJ has made some progress, but it just always feels like he resorts back to his old self. The version of him that's inconsistent on defense and offense, not able to score when we need him to. His 3-point shot has been awful lately, And I don't know if it's going. I mean, eventually, obviously, it would improve again. He would have to make them at some point, but it's been awful recently. And at what point, if this trade didn't happen, at what point would you have said it's time to trade him? Like at the end of this season, in the summer, or it needed to be discussed, and now it actually happened. Alex said Quickley was our spark plug. He really was. There's not a lot of players from the bench that can provide us scoring. He was really the only one. So I'm just a little concerned for our bench right now because Quickley would lead that bench unit and he would score if they needed him to. You could always depend, well, not in the playoffs, but you could always depend that he would be able to get it going and score at least if no one else could. But now, like from that bench, you're looking at Hart and Grimes, and I think we got a guard in return from this trade. Someone mentioned it earlier. Malachi Flynn, I think that's his name. He is a guard for the Raptors. Well, now for the Knicks. So we did get someone else in return. I'm not sure if that's a legit source, but yeah. So I don't know. Our bench is looking a little bit questionable just because losing Quickley you're digging a real hole in your bench right there. He provided something that not a lot of players can replicate. I mean, look at it last night. I mean, a lot of nights Josh Hart is not able to produce any scoring for us. He's usually scoring like less than 10 points. Grimes last night had 3 points in the minutes he was given. Who's going to step up now for the bench when no one is able to do it? JNY Sports said Knicks will regret this one. There's a possibility they will when IQ or RJ elevate their game. I can definitely see it happening for Quickley. And even if he doesn't stay with Toronto, if he leaves this summer and goes to a different team and flourishes there, I think the Knicks will regret it. PMCG said, I think IQ ceiling is lower than what the Knicks fans expect for him. That's interesting. I mean, he didn't show. We can talk about the negatives from him. He didn't show up in the playoffs this most recent year. He was basically gone. But he also got hurt in the Miami Heat series. So there's that. His ceiling, though, we don't know what it is. We really don't, because he's never been like a starter on this team for a large majority of the season. I know he started a few games last season. This season, he hasn't started at all. But when he is in Toronto now, or even this summer, if he goes to a different team and starts there, we will see his ceiling. And I have to disagree. I think it's going to be higher than what people expected. Shut Up and Dance said, this stupid Leon Rose. Oh man, don't let him hear you. Leon Rose does not like criticism. He just might ban you from MSG. Almighty said, we did not get fleeced. I mean, we didn't necessarily get fleeced, but we gave up quickly, and I didn't expect that in this trade. Jeezy said there has to be another deal coming. Yeah, that's what most people are saying right now. There's definitely something else in the works, something brewing. It could be Murray, because there were official reports that the Knicks were interested in him, but I'm curious to see who else would have to leave to get Murray. Almighty said we only gave up a second-round pick. Yeah, a second-round pick is not too bad. At first, I heard it was a first-round pick, which made me just go crazy, but it was updated to a second-round pick in the reports. Quick was always going to be traded. Yeah, once they didn't come to an agreement for his extension, he was going to be traded. That's just the sad truth, and I didn't want to admit that. We kept thinking like, oh, if Quickley has a great year this year, the Knicks are going to pay him this summer, but That didn't happen. He's gone now. Can't deny the fact we got Precious and Flynn. It's not that bad. We kept our first round pick. Okay, so that is a legit source because I didn't, Shams didn't include those players in the tweet here. He just talked about RJ and Immanuel Quickley in the second round pick, but we did get some players back. I looked up Flynn. He is a guard averaging 5 points per game, 2.1 rebounds, 2.4 assists. Not sure. So it says he's been given sparse minutes in Toronto, and he's been in a backcourt rotation. But I don't know. I'm just reading a little bit about him because I don't know too much about these players. I don't really know about Flynn. It seems like he's just a guy that's been on the bench. And Precious, I have to look up as well. PMCG said RJ is arguably one of the worst starters in the NBA, and neither of these players were playing defense. Yeah, our defense on the whole, like just in general, our defense has been awful. Between RJ and Quickley, none of them have been spectacular. No one in this team really has been spectacular on defense. I mean, there's some nights where we are really great on the defensive end and we do the extra effort. We're stealing the ball, we're making turnovers happen, but most nights it hasn't been like that. So you're right. When we getting OG Anunoby in return for RJ and Quick, we're getting a better defensive player in all. So it's definitely an improvement there. A lot of people upset in this comments about IQ. I'm seeing more people upset about IQ than RJ, and I'm curious to is it just me that thinks is it just me that's more upset about IQ than RJ? I think we all saw RJ coming. Maybe not this soon and maybe not today, but we all saw it coming from the way he's been playing. I think IQ is just more surprising because he's been great lately and wow. Yeah, Edmund said RJ was not playing well. I don't think they got fleeced, especially since RJ has played so inconsistent. Losing IQ hurts and that's upsetting. Yeah, that's true. That's true because RJ, he hasn't been well really. Before his migraines, he was a great player. After that, he hasn't been the same player since. And some people said he shouldn't even be starting with the way he's been playing. So if you think about it like that, it's a different mindset because in the last 10 games or so, I believe he's been averaging like 16 points per game on really bad percentages. So he hasn't been well recently. LFGM said, no, we didn't give up too much. You guys have to understand we need to get Donovan Mitchell, so IQ had to leave. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I haven't even mentioned that yet. Is it Donovan Mitchell we're going to get? The thing is with Donovan Mitchell, though, I wouldn't expect us to trade for him because doesn't his contract literally end this year? That's what I've heard before. I'm actually going to look it up. Donovan Mitchell, when does Donovan Mitchell's contract end? Contract expire. So, okay. He's under contract for the next 2 seasons and then has a player option for 2025-26. Oh man, I actually thought it was this was his last season as a Cavalier, but he's under contract for the next 2 seasons. So I definitely think they are considering trading for him. Because they're making moves right now. They made the move to get OG Anunoby right now. If they're making another move, I think it'll be soon. I don't think they're going to wait until 2025, 26 to then get Donovan Mitchell and decide to be a top team in the East, try to be a championship contending team. AA said, we need to stretch the floor. JB and Randall have no room in the paint. Yeah, the spacing has been really questionable, and it's looked bad. It has. And I just think it's with RJ in there with Jalen, and because Jalen and Randall are 2 ISO players, they can both do ISO ball, so they both need a side to themselves or something like that. They both need space, but the spacing has been bad, and I think a lot of times I see RJ get in the way with it. He's just because he also likes to be somewhere around the middle. He's not usually a guy that likes to stand in the corner because he can't make his 3-point shot. So he's usually in the way somewhere, and hopefully getting OG can clear up the space for them. Mickey said Randall has to go next. I don't care. He plays sloppy and his negative energy affects other people. If you really watch the games, you know what I'm talking about. Mickey, I feel like this is not the time to be saying that just because Randall has been great the last 15 games. He's been playing phenomenal basketball. Like, if you look at his averages, I think he's averaging 27 or 28 points per game the last 15 games. Um, I get what you're saying, though. We've seen times where he hasn't been the great mentally, and his energy that he gives off is not great. And it affects other players. It affects our team. We've seen him nearly fight with Immanuel Quickley. If you guys remember, that happened last season. We've seen him deal with coaches in a negative way. This year, though, and specifically this recent stretch, this last 15 games, he's been great, though. So I'm not going to start talking about trading Randall. If we go on a larger losing streak and he suddenly plays awful for a large chunk of games, then maybe we can talk about it. But I don't know about that right now. AA said Dante actually hits his shots. Yeah. I mean, not last night, but yeah. Someone said there's got to be another move at the shooting guard position. Please get DeJounte Murray. Yeah, so the shooting guard position is just it's been struggling. I know Dante has had some really great games for us, but there's games like last night where he doesn't produce anything and he only had 3 points. We can't have that from him. Like we need a shooting guard that is going to be consistent and that is going to at least bring something to the table every night. Even if it's just 10 points, like just 10 points from your shooting guard. That's what you need. And you need them to hit those threes when it matters. I would say like that's one of the most important jobs right there as a shooting guard, obviously. Andy said this is heartbreaking. I feel you, Andy. When I started this stream, I was just in complete shock. I still don't know how to feel. I'm kind of processing it a little bit more, but it's still really shocking news. And a lot of people are mentioning that they don't think the Knicks are done making moves. I don't think either, guys. I think something else is going to be happen, whether it's Murray or, someone even mentioned Donovan Mitchell. But I think the Knicks are really interested in DeJounte Murray. Brandon said he's hurting. I feel for you, Brandon. I'm really sorry you have to go through this. I feel for every RJ stan in the comments or anyone that's watching because you guys have really stood up for him and you've supported him despite his struggles. And now he's gone. It sucks losing your favorite player. I mean, that happened to me this past summer when Obi Toppin got traded. I was really shocked about it just because, I thought the Knicks would be able to make it work if he could somehow get a few more minutes off the bench. And Obi was my guy, but he's gone, and I think I've coped well with it. I haven't really thought about it too much, and I'm rooting for him in silence over there in Indiana, but obviously not tonight because we play the Pacers tonight, and we need the Knicks to win, snap that losing streak. But still, I'm rooting for him in silence. I hope he has a good season. Cardi said a bench of Dante, QG, Hart, and Precious. I love it. Yeah, I actually have to look up. I'm going to look up Precious really quick just because I'm not really sure. I'm not too familiar with him. And I didn't even know we got a few guys in the back from the trade because it was just reported that, RJ and Quickley were leaving with the second round pick, but it didn't say we were getting back anyone in return besides OG. So Precious, he's 24 years old. He was drafted in 2020 in the first round. He was picked 20. Okay. And he's 6'8". All right. He's pretty tall. I like that. He's a power forward. Let's look at his stats. Later, I'm going to watch some highlights between Precious and Flynn just to get to know them a little bit more. Okay, so for this season, he's been averaging 7 points per game, 5 rebounds per game. That's actually pretty good. He's averaging more rebounds than OG and 1.8 assists. on 45.9% from the field. That's actually, for a bench player, I think we got something good here. 7.7 points per game, and he's a backup power forward for us. That's what we've been needing too. So I really hope the Knicks keep him, and just because I want to see what he's like. AA said it sucks emotionally. It definitely does. It's like almost like just a real hit in your heart if you really liked Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett. uh Someone said I don't care about RJ, but IQ hurts. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are going to say. They don't really feel the same way about RJ that they do about IQ leaving. And I think I'm the same way. I'm more hurt that IQ is not with us anymore because he's so talented. He's such a skilled scorer, and I wanted him to take the next step. I wanted him to elevate his game, but I just knew it could not be done on the Knicks. The Knicks were not his team. He is going to go in the Raptors, and if he stays there or not, he's going to elevate somewhere else. AA said the price of OG dropped. That's why this happened last night. Oh, I actually didn't know. I didn't think about that. Wow. It's so sudden though. Because we literally just played last night and we're gonna play again tonight. Nothing but that sports talk said, can the OG Anunoby trade help the Knicks reach the conference finals? It's gonna be tough because the East is really stacked. I mean, we're 8th right now, and I think we've been playing good basketball, but we're literally 8th in the Eastern Conference right now. So it just goes to show you how stacked the East is and how well everyone's performing between the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers. I mean, you have the Heat up there, number 4. They made their way up because I remember towards the middle or the beginning of the season, they weren't doing so good, and they were at the bottom. But now they're 4th, and they're definitely a team you have to look out for. I mean, look at what they did in the playoffs. They made it all the way to the finals. The Miami Heat are not a team you want to sleep on. And besides the Heat, though, let's see, we got the Magic. The Magic have been crazy this the Magic have been crazy this season. Definitely underdogs because no one really expected this to happen, but they're 5th in the Eastern Conference. They have 19 wins. Cavaliers are ahead of us too. We've beat the Cavs in the playoffs last year, so I'm not really too concerned about them too because they just lost Darius Garland and who else was it? I think it was Evan Mobley. I'm not sure. It was, yeah. I'm gonna look it up just to fact check that. Evan Mobley, let's see. Whether it was him or not, the Cavs are slacking. They lost a few people to injuries recently, and I definitely think we'll be ahead of them at some point. But whether or not OG brings us to the conference finals, I don't have the answer for that right now because there's the whole chemistry is kind of messed up on the Knicks right now. And a big part of basketball is chemistry on a team. So I need to see how how our Knicks team can play together now with OG in the lineup. They need time to blend together and to learn how to play together. It's definitely going to take a few games, but I'll get back to you on that question. Duthang said, bro, this dude better come shut other players down. If not, I'm going to riot. I think that's what he's here for. That's exactly what he's here for. He is 6'7", I think, or 6'8". I was just reading his stats over here. But he does have a 7-foot wingspan, and I think he can really shut down opposing players, like some of the best opposing players that we'll have to face. We didn't really have a guy like that. We didn't really have a forward that could do that for us. So the fact that we have one now, and he's known for his specialty is defense. So that's what he's here for. That's what he's here to do, really. Yeah, let's look at a few more comments. before we wrap it up just a little bit. I mean, it's Saturday afternoon. I'm sure everyone has things to do, but this trade definitely caught people off their tracks. Edwin said it sucks because we all wanted RJ to be better, but he just isn't going to be because he isn't going to be. He's a good player, but he's been wildly inconsistent. Yeah, you said it right. That's exactly what it is right there. We all wanted him to be better. We wanted him to lead this team at some point, and from the most recent playoffs, we thought he could do that. We thought he could come into this season and play like how he did in the playoffs, because he in the playoffs, he really led this team along with Jalen Brunson. He really took over because we know Randall was dealing with that injury and he was not able to produce anything at all. He was not able to perform at the same level he usually did. So RJ really stepped up for that, and he was a dominant scorer in the playoffs. But this season, it's been up and down again, as it usually is for every season for him. PMCG said, yes, we forgot Dante plays defense. RJ was a liability, and if IQ isn't shooting well and playing below average defense, it's been bad. You're definitely right there. IQ is not known to be like a great defender, and RJ is not either. But Dante does play defense. Dante's defense has been a little bit questionable, though. I know I've seen him commit a lot of questionable fouls. I'll say that. A lot of some 3-point plays or things similar to that, where I've been like, that wasn't a great foul. That wasn't great defense right there. But yeah, Dante is supposed to be a 3-and-D guy. AA said Gary Trent replaced OG. That's why it happens all the time. And they also said we get back a 3-point threat to stretch the floor. Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, 1 second. Before I reach that comment, Willie said Evan Fournier is still a Knick. I know, Willie. I was literally just talking about it. I think in the beginning of this stream, I said, how is Evan Fournier still a Knick? He's watching like all of his teammates leave between Toppin and now RJ and Quickley, and he's still at the end of that bench, just waiting there, to leave because he doesn't get minutes and he's just sitting there doing nothing. It's crazy. We couldn't attach Fournier to this deal at all. Like, Rels, what's up? What's up, Rels? How are you? And you said this trade is crazy. I know. We've been talking about it for an hour. I just realized I've been live for an hour now talking about this trade. It really came out of nowhere, I would say, because I knew something was going to happen soon, but for it to happen today, this morning, oh, it's so recent and it's crazy. PMCG said they were playing Josh Hart at power forward. RJ was afraid to take an open corner three last night. We are a better team today than we were yesterday. Yeah, I think Precious will definitely be a better backup power forward than Josh Hart was. I think Precious is taller. Josh Hart is, what is he, like 6'4", 6'5"? Let's see. Oh my god, Twitter is going crazy right now. Yeah, Josh Hart is 6'4", and Precious is 6'8". So that's a huge difference right there for a backup forward position. Definitely we needed more size. You could tell a lot of games we were undersized and we just needed taller players because it'd be between defense, we would just get knocked around because we were smaller, we had smaller players, and our other teams would get more offensive rebounds, more rebounds in general, just because they were bigger and taller. But I'm actually glad to have a guy like Precious. I didn't know we got him in the deal, but we did. If you don't know, we got someone just told me how to say it. I'm gonna look at this tweet. Shout out to They Call Me Tack. He said Achiuwa. Okay, so we got a player named Precious Achiuwa. He is a power forward, 6'8". He averages 7.7 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, which I'm actually happy about, and 1.8 assists on 45% from the field. So he's looking like a good bench player, a good backup forward. He might be able to fill a similar role that Obi did last season. Javier said, y'all think we could sign Mitchell and have Jalen Mitchell, OG, Randall, and Mitch line up? Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility if the Knicks are after him. I'm really not sure who the next player they're trying to get is. It could be Murray, it could be Mitchell, but that is a small backcourt with Jalen and Mitchell. But I've actually heard that Donovan Mitchell has really improved his defense this season. I remember seeing the tweet. I don't remember the exact like stats or everything, but he has improved his defense. Jalen, not necessarily a great defensive player, so that's my only concern there is that the backcourt would be pretty small between Jalen and Mitchell, and um, but then again, you have OG that would be able to probably make up for it. OG's a great defensive player, and he would probably be able to step up if we needed him to do on that end. And Randall and Mitch, yeah, that's looking like a good lineup right there. You can definitely wonder if that's championship contending team right there with Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and well, Mitchell Robinson. We won't even be able to get him back this season. Unfortunately, he's out for the rest of the season. So it would have to be Hardenstein right now. Mr. Don said Daquan got released to make room. Oh, I didn't know that. But that makes sense now because there are two players attached in this deal for us. Precious and Flynn. One is a guard, one is a power forward. Sadad said Raptors are tall, but I think OG will rebound better here. Yeah, he might be able to because we were an undersized team. The main guy that got rebounds for us was Mitchell Robinson, and he's not here anymore. So other players have been trying to step up for him and do their part, but I think OG will be huge for us on the rebounding aspect and just defensively, he could fill that part that we so badly need. PMCG said you are right. If they extend quickly, it triggers a bigger cap hit for the team. That's trading for him. It's why we couldn't trade RJ last year. Yeah. They called me tag, said we were bad at drafting, developing, and keeping players. We are bad at drafting. Exactly. Like that comment right there, that needs to be pinned and that needs to be everywhere because we are bad at drafting, developing, keeping players. You can go back like a long time. I'm just going to start with Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, Obi Toppin, and now RJ Barrett. And I wouldn't necessarily say we were unsuccessful at developing Immanuel Quickley. He developed with us and he's progressed every year since he's been here. But the fact that we didn't keep him, that goes along into the narrative right there. Those were all draft picks that we had and we weren't able to keep them. Oh man, PMCG said I have so many RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Quickley rookie cards. I feel you. I had Obi Toppin's jersey. I got his jersey last year, and when he got traded, I was really hurt because I never got to wear it to the Garden and watch him play. So I just have his jersey in my closet right now, just sitting there. I'm really glad I never got a RJ or Quickley jersey because it's money wasted when a player you get leaves the team and you have his jersey for nothing. I was really close actually to getting RJ this season. I'm glad I didn't though. We figured out who to draft, sort of how to develop, and now we need to figure out how to keep them. Yeah, I think Mitchell Robinson is just an example of that. He's developed from us and he's still here, but it's just the fact that he's dealing with so many injuries really sucks for him and it sucks for our team. He's such a powerful and dominant center for us and he's huge for us. He's an anchor for us on the defensive end that we really need him. But I would say he is a successful draft pick that we have. Let's see. AA said Quick wasn't really being a point guard. At times you could definitely get that feeling that he was more of a dominant scorer. And you could feel that way about Jalen Brunson too. Jalen Brunson likes to score the ball. He likes to have the ball in his hands, and most of the times he will average a lot of points and not too many assists. But I think it's the same way with Quickley. He likes to score the ball. He likes to do his own thing. So yeah, I can definitely get that feeling. Edwin said, unless they use McBride as a backup point guard. That's a possibility, but there's a few possibilities here. They could use McBride. They could put Dante. I think Dante has to. They could put Dante back on the bench to be the backup point guard because he's actually played backup point guard for other NBA teams. He's been able to fulfill that role, so he can do it again if the Knicks need him to. Or also, between McBride or him, we also got a backup point guard from the Toronto Raptors. His name is, I had it right here. Let's see, where was Flynn? Yeah. Oh, so his name is Malachi Flynn. He was a guard on the Raptors, but he came in the trade, and it said he averages like 5 points per game, two assists per game, but that's a possibility too. AA said, "Oh, you're referring to Quickley here, dribbling all over, not passing." Yeah, I definitely noticed a lot of moments like that where there was just too much dribbling going on with him. Um, it happens to everyone, though. Harlem said, "We got Flynn in the deal. Him and Deuce are the backup point guards." Yeah, basically. We were just talking about the possibilities. I think that's probably the most realistic. I think they want to keep Dante in the starting lineup right now because there's really no point to bring him back to the bench when you do have Deuce and Flynn that can do the job. Someone said they passed on Donovan Mitchell for OG. I was just wondering, like, this trade is huge for us. We gave up two of our key players, like huge players from our team, RJ and Quickley. I don't know who else we would be able to give up to get Donovan Mitchell because, like, obviously Brunson's off the table, Randall's off the table. Well, I mean, not necessarily, but that's what I'm thinking right now. He's been playing great basketball. I don't know if they can trade Dante because he just signed with us this summer. I'm not sure about Hart. He extended this summer. But who else would we be able to trade to get Donovan Mitchell now? Because we just traded away like some of our best players, some of our key players from our team. What about those migraines? Hope that's behind him. Someone said, yeah, I really hope that's behind him. And I hope he's doing all right. I definitely feel for him because he's been through a lot of criticism through the years he's been a Knick. And that's just the job of being a New York Knick in the New York media. You get a lot of criticism. Our fan base is not easy at all. We go down on our players when they're not playing well. And we've definitely been down on him. So I feel for him that he has to leave this way because obviously he has been in a slump. But he's going back home. I hope that uplifts him somehow. He's back home in Canada. And it sucks losing guys that you drafted and you wanted better for them. Jonathan's showing his reaction here. He said, just straight up stupid. We didn't give up a first round pick. We gave up a second round pick, but some people were saying it's like basically a first round pick. AA said it's like when few people get fired on the job, everybody's antennas are up. Exactly. I definitely think the entire team is probably shocked by this. Josh Hart literally tweeted, "What did I wake up to?" Or like he was shocked, and everyone's definitely, they're on their toes right now. They're just like they're shocked, and maybe they're thinking they could be next. You don't know because it seems like another move is coming. So I definitely think the chemistry is a whole messed up right now. It's really messed up. Losing two of our guys, fan favorites, guys who were drafted here. RJ was really close with, Randall. Randall was with him his entire career. Ever since he was a Knick, Randall was with him, and losing that's huge. And our chemistry is definitely really messed up right now. Yes, you got that right. You're disgusted. I feel you. I get it. Everyone's dealing with a lot of emotions right now. I'm upset just because Quickly is not a guy I want to let go and wanted to go on another team and flourish, but it happened. Kelvin said facts about Quick. That was inevitable, in my opinion. It was inevitable, even though I loved Quickly as a player and he was he has so much potential. It was inevitable to happen after we didn't extend him in October where the deadline was. You just everyone thought it was going to happen, and it did. Jonathan said it should have been Fournier and RJ Barrett. I would have loved it if it was that, honestly, because I'd love to get Fournier off of our team and um but I don't think it could have worked like that. They definitely wanted more. They were pursuing OG for a while now, and I'm sure they've given the Raptors a lot of scenarios, a lot of trade scenarios, but this is the one they accepted. Let's see. Jackson said, let's be patient. Still 2 moves away. Interesting. A lot of people are saying 1 move. Get that other star player on this team. But it's interesting that you said 2. AA said we might get Murray. It's a possibility. The Knicks are interested in him. PMCG said, good show today, BTW. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. As soon as I heard the news, I just had to know. I had to go live on here. We had to talk about it because it's not often that this happens for the Knicks. They haven't made a big trade like this in a while. The Obi trade was during the summer, and it was expected from a lot of people, including me. But this is huge, and we need to talk about it because a lot of fans are in shambles right now. We don't know what to think. We're heartbroken. We're upset. It's so shocking to hear. AA said, I don't see Mitchell happening anytime soon. Yeah, I just don't know who else we would give up to get him. I mean, he's a great player. He's a star player that we would need to give up someone huge for him, but we just traded away RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley, who I thought would be in that package for Mitchell. So I don't think Mitchell's happening anytime soon as well. I don't know. He's a free agent, I think, in 2025, 26, which is it's pretty far away, honestly. That's like I know we're going into 2024, but still, that's like 2 seasons away. Patrick said RJ is allergic to defense and too inconsistent, but Toronto got a good point guard. IQ will get better. But IQ agent wants a heavy bag. RJ's defense has definitely not been great, and like you said, he's not consistent on both ends of the court. But Toronto definitely got a good guard with IQ, and someone mentioned it above. That's what Toronto needed. I haven't really kept up with Toronto. I haven't really been watching their games too much, but someone mentioned it that they needed guards that could score, and that's exactly what you're getting in Quickley. He's a point guard that can score the ball. He's a skilled scorer. If you need him to score, that's what he can do. Larry said RJ really wanted to work, but we gave him so many opportunities, never consistent. Yeah, you said it right. We wanted him to win. We wanted it to work, but it just never worked out. And it was really up to him because he was never consistent. It sucks it has to be this way because we drafted him, we extended him, we gave him the extension. We wanted him to just kind of be the face of this team at some point. It could never be like that. Jackson said this move isn't the move. It's a move. Let's just support our team and trust the process. Yeah, I agree because I wouldn't consider this the move. OG Anunoby is a great player, but great two-way player, but he's not the star player that the Knicks I think should like need. I really think if we're gonna get someone else, we're not done with the moves. That's what I think. We're not done. There has to be someone else. Jonathan said Fournier should have been gone. I know. Everyone's gonna be talking about that too. Like, how is Fournier still here? But it is what it is. It really is. Larry said IQ loved him, but it's a business. It would have been hard to re-sign him. You're right. The Knicks were looking at this from a business standpoint. That's really what the NBA is. It's a business, and the Knicks are a part of that business. So instead of letting IQ walk for nothing in the summer, they decided to trade him and get something valuable in return. Joshua said IQ should have never been a part of this trade. I feel you, and I agree. Just because I believe in IQ, and I know he has a lot of potential, but we just mentioned it. What Larry said, it was a business decision. Straight up, that's what it was. Larry said saving him for a bigger trade that we will use draft picks for. Yeah. Fournier will be gone soon. Don't worry about it. I don't know. I was saying he might be like the last player on this team. Like if there's going to be another move coming and we move around a few more guys, I don't know. He might be the last one standing. AA said, LOL, remember when Porzingis or Melo was traded? This is light. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is definitely like light news compared to that. I mean, Melo was a completely whole different thing. And Porzingis, that shocked everyone because he requested it and that was just different. But I think this is still shocking to some extent. But at the back of our mind, we all knew it was coming for both these players, honestly. Just didn't think it would happen today, this morning. Oh no, Brandon said he's done. He's renouncing from the Knicks fandom. Brandon, don't leave the Knicks fandom. I know you're upset because if you guys don't know, Brandon is a huge RJ stan. He's been with him through thick and thin. But you have to stay a Knicks fan. I know this is upsetting news, but we just have to trust the process. Someone said it earlier, trust the process. We have to see what will happen out of this. And I mean, you could still support RJ on the Raptors, honestly. You could still watch him and support him. I'm sure a lot of fans will be doing that. No Chill asked, "Were you a Barrett fan?" Never was a fan, honestly. I was never really a huge fan. Yeah, not necessarily a huge RJ stan, but after the playoffs, the most recent playoffs, I had more faith in him. I had faith that this year, year 5, was going to be the year that he truly steps up and is a part of leading this team along with Jalen Brunson. But it didn't happen. He's been inconsistent ever since he came back from the migraine injury. And I just don't know how long it would have took for him to get back his 3-point shot and get back into a groove, because his 3-point shot has been awful the last stretch of games. Jonathan said Rose and the front office should be fired. It's definitely a lot of people saying that as well. A lot of people are going to be upset about this trade. A lot of people. Cameron said they weren't going to match IQ's offers in the offseason. You're right. I completely agree that that's definitely what would have happened. They weren't going to match it. So that's exactly why they traded him. They needed to get something back in return for him. I really thought, that they would be able to come to an agreement with him this past summer, and be able to extend him. But once that didn't happen, I think we all knew this was the result. PMCG said, yeah, we got 3 players. It's a good deal. I definitely like looking at it now, because I didn't know in the beginning that we got those 2 other players. So looking at it now, it is a better deal. I wouldn't necessarily say the Knicks got fleeced anymore. We did get, what's his name? Precious Achiuwa. He is a backup power forward, and he averages 7.7 points per game, 5.4 rebounds. So that's a good player right there. You got a good bench piece right there. I did mention at the start that I thought our bench was questionable now and it was going to struggle, but we have a backup power forward, and we also have a backup point guard if we need if we need him. His name is Malachi Flynn. Averages around 5 points per game, 2.5 assists, I think, and so we got 3 players in total from this, and we gave up 2 and a second round pick. AA said, nah, Tibbs brought us back. I didn't even watch 2018 Knicks. They were that bad. Yeah. I think you're referring to another comment above that was like fire Tibbs and that he's a bad coach or something like that. And he definitely made us into a better team because you're right. In 2018 and those years, they were bad. They were unwatchable, you can say, and you didn't even watch it. So you're right. Getting Tibbs made us a better team. I mean, we were able. I think he's one of the. Oh, sorry, I was just reading some comments on Twitter. I think he's probably our most successful Knicks coach in the recent years. I think he has the most wins out of like the last 10 years, out of the last decade, maybe 20 years. But um, he's had questionable moments. Tibbs is definitely a questionable coach. I do question his his substitutions or certain moves he makes. I haven't really ever said fire Tibbs since he's been a coach. I haven't really said that. I know a lot of people have. Um, but I just think that we had a winning record with him last season. We made the playoffs with him. We didn't need to fire him. There was no need for that. This season I think is going to be a real test. You know, see how we end up and then make that decision. Let's see. Bleed Blue said RJ was not that guy and we were not paying IQ. So I like that deal. Yeah, when you put it that way, that's perfectly said. I mean, RJ was not going to be that guy for us, that guy we needed him to be a part of our big three. And we weren't going to pay IQ. IQ is a great player, but the Knicks were not going to match the offer that he would have gotten this summer. So they had to make a business decision. What GNL said the process will end up being with Ben Simmons. I'm sick. No, we're not getting Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is not coming here in any form. So let's leave him on the Nets right now. Patrick said maybe the Knicks are working to get a deal for DeJounte Murray from Atlanta to replace IQ. Yeah, if you haven't seen the reports, the Knicks are actually interested in Murray. There's been official reports out there that they're interested. So that's a possibility right there. I'm not really sure what a package for him would look like right now after we just gave up RJ and Quickley. I'm curious to see how after this stream. I'm literally going to go on Twitter and see what people are making up right there. But I definitely think there's another move coming. Jonathan said, once a Nick, always a Nick. RJ Barrett and Quick. Yeah, definitely. I feel for these players, and I'm definitely going to miss them. But the saying goes, once a Nick, always a Nick for both of them. Their years here, I mean, RJ, they had good years here. You know, they made the playoffs twice, 2021, last year. They were able to elevate in certain ways. Quickley has been a great player ever since he was a Knick. He has progressed each year. RJ, I mean, not necessarily, but he's been able to have great moments, great games, and great stretches, but definitely going to miss them in some way. They call me Tack said, I'm hoping there's another deal for Murray at least. The rumors didn't make sense when we had IQ, but make sense now since we need a PG. I definitely think there will be another deal move coming. And I was skeptical about Murray just because he hasn't been playing the best of basketball. Like he hasn't been playing the best this season so far. So I'm a little skeptical about it, but I think that's the move we're headed in, the direction we're headed in. Oh man, Nikki said heartbroken. I feel you. I'm upset about it too. And after an hour and a half of being live, I'm still processing it. I literally woke up to this news, guys. I slept really late. I was sleeping in and I just got a text that the text literally just said we got OG. It didn't say who we traded. It just said we got OG. So I immediately opened that up, went to Twitter, and saw it was RJ Barrett and Quickley. I mean, I didn't expect them. I thought like Grimes and maybe RJ and I don't know. It was just so shocking. And I think the craziest thing about this too is that last night after we lost to the Orlando Magic, I was thinking about what needs to be fixed about this Knicks team. Like, what do we need to do to be better? Because the entire post game stream, I was mentioning that our defense is awful and I don't know how to fix it at this point. So after the stream, I literally was just looking up OG Anunoby, his stats and his highlights, and I was just like, he can be that guy for us. I think at this point it needs to be him that we get. I was going to tweet it, but I didn't. But it's so crazy. I was literally thinking about him last night, and this happens this morning because it just makes sense. Like, our defense has struggled so much, especially in this like recent stretch of games, and now we have someone that can provide defense for us and that could step up. Especially after we lost Mitchell Robinson, we need someone that's going to step up defensively. Someone big too. He has a large wingspan, a 7 foot plus wingspan, and I think he's 6'8" or 6'7". Yeah, he's 6'7", 240 pounds. He's a big guy, and he's going to provide something on the table for us. Patrick said, I didn't see Barrett as a long-term player. I didn't want to admit it either, but I didn't see him as a long-term player. He was basically the elephant in the room. Everyone didn't want to admit it, but he just wasn't going to stay a Knick forever. I like OG, yeah. Nikita said heartbroken about this trade, these two. It is heartbreaking, especially because these were fan favorites RJ Barrett had a huge fan base from the Knicks, and then Quickley, huge fan base as well. A lot of people like both these players. So to lose both of them on the same day, it's definitely heartbreaking. AA also said OG is very efficient. Yeah, we have to mention that. OG is efficient. Like, with the amount of shots he takes, he's efficient, and he makes them. So it's not like he's going to be taking a crazy amount of shots. Like, he's not like a huge scorer that he's going to be taking like 25 shots a game or anything like that. And AA also said RJ has a slump every season. Remember that. You're right. We got to look at it long term. Like, how many more seasons were we going to let RJ go into a slump or be inconsistent and just let it pass, let it fly? How many more seasons would it have taken? At some point, you just have to admit that he's not a consistent player, and we need to get someone that is going to be consistent, at least on the defensive end. We know OG is going to do that. Nikita said these two players especially, the team should know this move shook the fan base. Reminds me of the Starks trade. Right now, I don't want to hear it's a good move. LOL, selfishly, I need time. I respect that. Definitely take your time. Big trades like this, you need time to process and time to accept it, really. Yeah, and you said it reminds you of the Starks trade. That's crazy. I can imagine how everyone was upset about that too. It's probably similar to this right now. History repeats itself. Patrick said RJ didn't show any type of all-star caliber type of player. And the beginning of the season, I would say, is the only time he showed he could be an all-star. For I would say, I don't even know how many games it was. I would say it was the first 10 games of the season. He was averaging 24 points per game on 50% from he was shooting 50% from the three-point line as well, which is his career high and the league's best. If he could have kept that up through the entire season, he would have been an all-star, and this trade maybe would not have happened. Oh yeah, and fun fact, Jonathan said Steve Nash, or no, I think Steve Nash is RJ's godfather. Yeah. Darius said if the Knicks get Murray, this is all worth it. Murray will cost Fournier and a pick or two. Is that really all it would cost? I'm thinking it would have to cost someone else. They would just give Murray up for Fournier and picks. I'm curious about that. I'm sure RJ will make it work there. Brunson took his untouchable spot. In some ways, maybe RJ is happy to be back home. I mentioned it earlier. He's from Canada. He's back in Canada. maybe he could shine there. I don't know. I'm hoping the best for him. Someone said trade was terrible. Yeah, there. I think everyone is there's split reactions on it. Some people are saying it's a good trade, and some people are saying it's terrible. Well, look at it like this: 1-3-5-4 production. We got back 3 players in this trade. I'm not sure if you saw the entire thing. This tweet doesn't say the entire thing as well, but we got back OG Anunoby. We got back Precious Achiuwa and Malachi Flynn. So we got 3 players. Flynn is a backup point guard. He was a point guard in their rotation, I think, on the bench. And let's see, Precious is a backup power forward. So we got a few bench players right there from this trade. And then someone mentioned it earlier that we all know RJ was not going to be that guy for us. Like, look at it in the long term. We need a guy that is going to be consistent, at least on the defensive end. And that's what exactly OG Anunoby is going to do. And then I know you're maybe probably upset the most about Immanuel Quickley. I am too. I'm really upset about it, but this was a business decision by the Knicks front office. They had to trade him before he walked this summer, and we got nothing in return. Yep, Patrick said it. He's going back home. Edwin said we need a center. We definitely still do need a backup center because we cannot have Taj Gibson playing 15 minutes a night as our backup. He's 38 years old and he is not able to keep up with our Knicks team and with the opposing team. It's hard to watch Taj Gibson play out there, and it looks like he's hitting the floor like almost every play. I don't know. Like, no offense to Taj at all. He was great for us in 2021, and I think he could be a great veteran, great locker room guy. But we still need a center because I do expect that we will get back Mitchell Robinson next season. I don't know if we're moving on from that too, just because Mitchell has been pretty injury prone the past few years. So I don't know if we're moving on from him, if anyone's spoken about that yet. I don't think so. There's a possibility. Yeah, Darius said also received New York's own Precious Achiuwa. He can play backup 4 and 5. Oh, that's great. I didn't know he could play if he could play the backup 5, but that's honestly great if he does that. Because we're lacking at some positions, and the most we're lacking at is the center position. Javier said, I'll have Donovan instead. And he said, think about Jalen Donovan, OG Randall, and Mitch. That's a great lineup. It is a great lineup. But I don't know if the Knicks are headed in that direction still. Donovan Mitchell becomes a free agent, I think, in 2025-26, which is about 2 seasons away. Are they waiting for him to become a free agent, or are we going to trade for him now? What pieces would we trade for him? Like, I think we literally traded our best pieces in this OG Anunoby trade. So I don't know what would be in the Donovan Mitchell trade. Someone said Murray can't be traded until January 9th. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. That's really good information. And I guess we'll see January 9th if something's done, if a move is made. And Kem said it's time to let Deuce and IQ's roll. He'll get more confident with more minutes, and the defensive intensity is unmatched. I agree. In some extent, Deuce is a great defensive player. Every time he's out there, the few minutes he gets any game, he's like a pest out there. Truly, he definitely makes a difference. I'm not sure if he's going to be getting the minutes as backup point guard now, or if it'll be the guard we just acquired. Who was it? Flynn. We just acquired a guard from the Toronto Raptors. I'm not sure if it'll be him or Deuce, or even I'm not sure if they would do this. I was thinking that they could potentially put Dante as a backup point guard if they wanted him to, because he can play point guard. He's played point guard for other teams. But I don't think they would do that just because he's been in the starting lineup for a good stretch of games now. I don't think they would move him back to the bench. GNL said a 6-man of the year candidate can easily be replaced. Yeah, all right. It all cracks rocks out, I see. I don't think IQ is easily replaced. I know someone mentioned it above. There's like 50 guys that could do what IQ does, but personally, I think IQ is special and he's definitely different. And once he is on a new team like he is now, or if he goes to a different team during the summer, he will really flourish there when he gets the green light that he does, because all this season he's been on limited minutes. He hasn't started one game despite all of our injuries that we've had between RJ, Grimes, and whoever it else might be. He hasn't started. So once he can be a starter, I think he's really going to flourish, and we'll all see it. It might be a regretful decision, but I'm still rooting for Quickley. Let's see some more comments over here. Oh no. Someone said Randall is next to be traded for Donovan Mitchell or Zach LaVine. You see, the thing is, that would make sense because for a trade like Donovan or Zach LaVine, you need a big player like Randall. But then again, Randall's playing probably the best basketball he is. Like in his career right now, he's averaging like in the last 10 games at least. In the last 10 games, he's probably averaging 27 to 28 points per game. Probably 10 plus rebounds. He's been great recently. He's been doing a lot of bully ball, attacking the basket, and that's what I love to see from him. I love that aspect of his game. So I hate to include him in trade rumors right now, but because I don't know, like when he's been playing so well, how could you include him in those trade rumors? He just had 38 last night against the Magic. Dre said, I'm happy for Immanuel Quickley. He got his skills. He's similar to Tyrese Maxey. I hope Quickley gets to shine and ball out in Toronto. Yeah, I'm happy for Quickley too. And we did mention the similarity between him and Tyrese Maxey. I pointed out that I do think he could potentially be on that level that Maxey is now. Maxey was a little bit in the shadow of Harden when Harden was on the Sixers, and now that Harden's gone, he's full on shined and he's flourishing right now. Or at least that's what I last heard. I'm not sure how he's been doing recently, like the last 10 games or so, but I know he's been having a great season there, and I definitely think Quickley can be on that level as well. And Dre said RJ will shine in Toronto. I mean, he's back home. He might as well. I hope the best for him. He hasn't really gotten he hasn't been able to be consistent here. Hopefully he can be consistent in Toronto if that's what's best for him. Let's see. What's the rationale for including IQ instead of Grimes? I'm really effing hurt that my boys are gone. I'm hurt as well. So, I think the real reason why they included IQ in this trade was because when we mentioned it all the stream, IQ is going to walk this summer. The Knicks did not extend him, so another team was going to offer him something this summer, a contract, and he was going to take it. And we would have gotten nothing because obviously he's leaving. So the Knicks did this to get something back in return, which is OG Anunoby. And I think this is the only trade that the Raptors accepted, really. Two key players from our team. This is what they accepted because the Knicks had been interested in OG for a while now. They'd been pursuing him. They probably offered the Raptors multiple scenarios, like one with Grimes, but they just didn't accept that, and they accepted this one. PMCG said Raptors come to MSG January 20th. That's going to be a crazy game, and that's really soon, actually. Like, if you think about it, January is like in 2 days. It's really soon. So it's kind of going to be, I don't know, it's going to be so weird to watch us play against RJ and Quickley. So weird. I wonder if they're on a plane right now to go to Canada. We were supposed to play tonight. Like, think about it. They were supposed to play tonight for the Knicks, and now they're probably on a plane to Canada to play for the Raptors. Julio said it's an amazing trade for the Knicks. I've seen some people say they're upset about it and it's terrible. But yeah. There's definitely some positives you could take away from this, like with the fact that we got 3 players, a backup power forward, a backup guard, and OG Anunoby, who is a great two-way player and is going to elevate our defensive efforts. He's going to improve our defense. Let's see. Oh yeah, Julio also said the last Knicks game where Tibbs took IQ out and put RJ in right there. IQ was done with the team. He was checked out. There was no way he was re-signing. Yeah, you could see it in his face when he walked back to the bench. He was definitely questioning why he was being benched. I mean, he had a great game. We're talking about the Thunder game, FYI. The Thunder game with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. IQ was subbed out for RJ, and that just didn't make sense to me at all. But with the way IQ has been treated this season with the minutes and the substitutions, you definitely knew he was not going to stay on the Knicks, given the chance this summer to leave. Someone said we have to go get DeJounte Murray and possibly Sadiq Bey. This team would be set to make a run. Yeah, I saw someone else mention Sadiq Bey. I definitely think more moves are going to happen. I think the Knicks front office is finally serious about making a run, like you said it. They want to be a championship contending team. They have a clear star in Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. I know Julius Randle, it's a whole other topic, guys. I'm not going to get into that, his playoff woes. We're not going to get into that right now, but it's definitely something to think about when you're building a team. You want to build your team around playoff performers. So I'm still a little skeptical there. But the Knicks front office wants to build their team around Jalen Brunson and provide him with the key pieces to win a championship. I mean, Jalen Brunson is our 1A. He has to be. Patrick said RJ claims he's 6'7", but he plays like he's 6'4". Yeah. RJ, it sometimes feels like he doesn't really have a lot of length to him. He doesn't play like he's big at all. There are times where he extends himself and when he's attacking the basket. So that's probably where we see him the most, like extend himself. But other than that, not on the defensive end at all. He doesn't extend himself or show himself as a big defender. Edwin said, I think most fans are in the middle of this trade, nor too happy or too upset. Yeah, I agree with that. I think the fan base is really split right now. I've had a few people in this comment section mention that this was an amazing trade, and then I've had a few people mention it was terrible. So everyone's really split. I think a lot of people are just shocked and upset and heartbroken because these were fan favorites of the Knicks. These were guys that people supported for the time that they were drafted. It's hard to deal with. Benny said, gotta stop buying jerseys. They are gone now. Oh my God. I feel so bad for people that have IQ or RJ's jersey. It sucks. I think that we should be able to trade in our jersey for just any other player on the team. Like, we shouldn't have to keep players that are not here anymore. I know some companies do that. Actually, I've heard of, I think it's American Express, the card. I think they do that if you use their card when you buy a jersey. But it just should be like every store that you buy from jersey from, you should be able to trade it in once a player's traded. Let's see. Gabriel said McBride will fill IQ's spot. Watch that boy step up. Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I'm here for the McBride minutes. McBride is a pest on defense. But also, I'm curious to see if they actually give minutes to the guard we just got in the deal, Flynn. He is a backup point guard. And I don't know. It could be split. It could be either or. Let's see. IQ to the Pacers. He is on the Raptors right now. He just got traded to the Raptors. Let's see. There's a lot of comments here. Oh my God. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get through to all of them because I've been live for nearly 2 hours. That's crazy. Which comment it was? I can't even find the comment. Okay. Brandon said, "I just don't understand the Knicks logic. How the F do we trade RJ and Quick for OG, but we wouldn't do it for Don?" You're right. I really don't get the logic there because obviously Donovan Mitchell is a better player. He's on a whole different level offensively. Everyone wanted Donovan Mitchell. I think it might have been from Utah's perspective. They rejected the trade, honestly. Um, I don't know. Was RJ off the table at that point? I think he was. And it doesn't make sense. I agree with you. PMCG said, "Good freaking show. This is why I come here. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone tuning in right now. I know we're all still processing this trade. It's crazy, but we pretty much went through it. And in total, I'll reiterate it. The Knicks traded. Oh my god, my throat's so dry. Hold on, guys. I definitely need some water." Hey guys, sorry we're back. I've been talking for nearly 2 hours straight, so I needed to get some water. That was crazy. My throat almost choked up there. But I didn't even get to go through all the comments. Yeah, there were so many, honestly. There's a whole lot in this section. I think this is the most I've ever gotten in a stream. A lot of people have a lot of things to say. I'm just gonna go through a few right here just to get your points up on the board. Zach LaVine for Fournier, Dante Grimes 2 first. Zach LaVine, I'm not even sure about. And one, I want to say it's because of his whole agency drama. The clutch, his agent, I think, is Rich Paul, and he doesn't like Leon Rose. That whole politics side of it, I don't know if it would work out just because of that. But also, it's been a while since I've seen Zach LaVine like be mentioned in trades for the Knicks again. Jonathan said Mitchell ain't coming to the Knicks. Don't break our hearts like that. Come on, Jonathan. Don't do that to us. Nick Grayson said, "Ayo, somebody with a non-emotional take. I love it." I was upset like at the beginning of this stream, but you really have to dive into it. You have to go through it, see what we got in return. And once I realized we got 3 players in return for this, we got OG, a backup power forward, and a backup point guard. It doesn't really look like a bad trade anymore. At first, I said the Knicks got fleeced because I really thought it was just OG that we got, but we did get back other players, a few bench players that could really be helpful for us. Um, and I'm just not that emotional about it because I wasn't like ever really a huge RJ fan. Like, he has a bunch of hardcore fans that go ham for him like every night he plays, so they'll support him, they'll defend him. But I was never really like that. I'm upset about Quickley though, but you have to be non-emotional when you're talking about these trades and really dive into it. Randall just dropped 38. Yeah. Let's see. Jonathan said no, Randall is a monster. That would be another stupid trade. Yeah, you guys are referring to that comment I had earlier that said trade Randall. Yeah, he's been a monster. He's been a beast recently. I don't think there's a reason to trade him or at least put him in the trade talks right now because he's been so good. Like, well, it's hard to put him in the trade rumors when he's been amazing. So, Abuelo said OG is going to command at least 30 mil, plus Knicks have to convince OG to stay and give him more offensive opportunity. He complained about it in Toronto. Oh, I actually didn't know that. I didn't know he was complaining about that in Toronto, and that's really interesting. But you're right. They have to convince him to stay. I read somewhere around about that um the Knicks can what is he like he's not gonna be a free agent this summer, is it? They have to convince him. My stream is lagging a little bit. My apologies for that. I'll just get through a few more comments, and then I'll wrap up just because I don't think it's enjoyable to watch a laggy stream ever. Oh man, this person said they got their RJ jersey 3 weeks ago. That's so heartbreaking. Oh my god. That's literally awful. 3 weeks ago. Is there any way you can return it? Oh, and someone else said they got their RJ jersey. Man, I feel really bad for you guys. I went through the same thing. I got my OB jersey last year, and then he got traded the past summer, so I've been there with you guys. Also Porzingis. I had Porzingis' jersey. I had his jersey signed. And then, he requested a trade and Knicks traded him. Been through it too. Courtside said, as a Raptors fan, enjoy him. Thank you for that. And as a Knicks fan, enjoy Immanuel Quickley. You guys will have a guard that can score. And I think that's what someone mentioned that you guys needed. Immanuel Quickley he's a great scorer. He's a skilled scorer. And I really think he has a lot more potential to him that you guys will probably see if you keep him. Oh, and they said not even we want to get rid of Gary too. Oh wow. You guys are making a lot of moves as well. AA said Trent looks good from the outside looking in. I put him in my parlays. Oh. So with Quick gone now, who's our backup one guard? So we mentioned it earlier. I think our backup one guard right now would either be Deuce McBride or the backup guard we just acquired in this trade from Toronto. His last name is Flynn. He I don't know which one I don't know who the Knicks would rather play. I'm pretty sure they'd rather play Deuce just because we know Deuce. But it'll be interesting to see if Flynn, when he gets here, if he'll get minutes or if he won't. Someone said, think we gave up too much. Well, we did get 3 players back in return. And I definitely thought the same when I first saw this trade. But it's tough because someone mentioned it before. RJ is not going to be that guy for us. He's not like, if we're being real, RJ hasn't been playing great basketball. He's been inconsistent and he's just not going to step up and be that guy that we need him to be on this team. And quickly, we definitely gave up a lot giving him up because he's our spark off of the bench. He's our go-to guy off the bench that could provide something. It sucks giving him up, but it was a business decision. I'm actually I'm gonna end the live right about here just because I've been live for 2 hours. I do see some more comments coming in. Um, Maybe I'll do another stream tonight, but it is 3 o'clock right now, and I know we're all still processing this. It's crazy. It's a wild trade. I'm really surprised that this happened this morning. I didn't expect it to happen this soon. I knew it was gonna happen at some point, but for it to happen this soon, it's crazy. And I'll end the comment. This is the last comment I'll put up for tonight. For today, it says, "Do you think the Knicks are done trading?" And I don't think the Knicks are done trading. I think someone mentioned it before. This is just a piece. OG Anunoby is just a piece. This isn't the trade. More is going to come. I think there's going to be another trade happening soon. Someone said DeJounte Murray is available to be traded January 9th. So I think everyone should look out for that date because he's on the Knicks radar right now. They've been trying. I think they're interested in him. Maybe even Donovan Mitchell is an option right there. I don't know. We gotta look at the potential people that we could trade for after this, because we gave up RJ and Quickley. There's not a lot more pieces we have to give up. We do have picks though. We have a lot of picks. So yeah, ending on that note, I don't think the Knicks are done. We have to look out for more trades, because Leon Rose, I guess the front office is serious now. They're serious on being a top team. They just traded away RJ, which I never thought would really happen this season, but they did it, and quickly. Two of their own draft picks too. It hurts. It's crazy, but it's done. And we have to look past it now. We have to look forward on what's going to happen next. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and thank you for the comments. Subscribe to the YouTube channel already if you're not. Big Nick Energy. See y'all later. Have a good one.